So, due to writer's block and work and school getting in the way, I've been putting this video off for a very long time. However, this video was something that I've been wanting to do for a while and needed to get this message out of my chest. Deku is somewhat of a good character. For those who don't know, My Hero Academia is about a society where the majority of people have a superpower, aka quirks. The protagonist Deku was born without a quirk, but he still wants to be the next #1 hero. Deku then bumps into the #1 hero, All Might, and is later gifted with All Might's power, One for All, which is a power that is very OP. This is just the surface of what My Hero Academia is about, and there's a lot of videos on YouTube covering the flaws, the power scaling, the society, the story arcs, etc. of My Hero Academia. But this is just my take on why Deku is a pretty decent character and still has potential to become even better. I am aware that most people either love him, hate him, or both, and there is a huge following on both ends of the spectrum. I, however, land on the like side. But before I get into my reasons, I just want to give a forewarning that this video may not be my best work, but I am content with it, and I hope you all can bear alongside me. And I know some of you are eyeing at the title and wondering, why does the title look so familiar? Well, to answer your question, dear viewer, the title is not an original title. This video was heavily inspired by Nux Taku. He has a pretty large channel and makes really great content. He has a No One Understands series, which I have linked in the description. I also linked his slightly recent video of his arguments on why he's not much of a big fan of Deku after season 2. To be honest, he presents some good arguments that are, kinda true. Therefore, I highly recommend you guys to watch it. Again, links are in the description. At first, I liked Asta from Black Clover a lot more than I liked Deku. Both Deku and Asta were powerless and both had the hunger to achieve their dream. Deku wanted to become the next #1 hero and Asta wanted to be the next Wizard King. But it's the way that they received their power that made me prefer Asta a little more than Deku when I first started watching both anime at the same time. When Asta received his rare grimoire, it felt slightly earned because the grimoire chose him. Whereas with Deku, it felt a little rushed and undeserving, especially since he almost risked his life to save Bakugo from the slime monster. This is the argument that most people, including myself, had towards Deku. But then I got to thinking, why would Horikoshi, the creator of My Hero Academia, have Deku receive One for All this way? During my high school years, I've done a lot of projects and was invited to speak at many events. Most of my peers were supportive, and then there were those who would say to me, "Oh, you were just lucky," or "I don't understand why things come to you so easily." And to that I would say, yes, but actually no. As cheesy as this may sound, the reason why opportunities will come to me so quote-unquote easily was because I was open about my passions and was proud of said passions, which helped manifest many opportunities. I chose to talk about my passions, I chose to write speeches, I chose to talk to the people that were already doing what I wanted to do. So if it wasn't for Deku choosing to ask All Might if he can become a hero despite not having powers, choosing to hold on to All Might's leg mid-flight, choosing to risk his life to save Bakugo, then he wouldn't have become All Might's predecessor. Deku saw the opportunity and went for it, which is why All Might chose him. Now, I'm also not going to sit here and deny the fact that luck was involved because I am a firm believer that luck is involved in most situations, including my personal life. But to be honest, everything is made by luck and chance. The whole message of the show is that man is not created equal, and Deku is a representation of someone taking advantage of a chance that was presented to him by sheer luck, which was All Might himself. Take David Dobrik for example, or literally any other YouTuber. Many might think that big YouTubers don't deserve the fame or the money that they receive, but they're the ones who chose to jump into the YouTube game in the first place, which in turn gave them the luck to have the opportunity to be where they are now. Therefore, the way Deku received One for All isn't as undeserving as some people may think, and this is one of the reasons why I like Deku, because he chose to follow his gut on taking the opportunity that luck manifested for him. Deku has a bland backstory, and it's not as tragic as it should be, according to most anime viewers. Tanjiro has a tragic backstory. His whole family was killed by a demon except for his little sister who became a demon herself. Goku has a tragic backstory. His whole race and planet was obliterated by Frieza. Naruto has a tragic backstory. His whole village hated him. That isn't to say that they are bad protagonists, because they are pretty good in their own right, but why do we need the protagonist to always have a tragic backstory? The reason why some people like Deku is because he has a backstory that resonates with mostly everyone. Bullying and being told that you can't achieve a certain goal is what we often go through. There was this one time that I tried to help a friend, and that friend told me, "How can you possibly understand what I'm going through, Little Miss Perfect?" Obviously, that comment at the time was out of pure anger because of the circumstance that they were going through, but it still made me question my own damage and that my past wasn't as relevant to even mention or even help people with. Let's take Diane from BoJack Horseman into consideration. Throughout the show, Diane was shown to be BoJack's counterpart when it came to their story arcs. They both had a similar childhood, but BoJack is just a more intense version of Diane due to him being a big celebrity. This slight difference made Diane more relatable because she was going through depression the way most people would who aren't in the limelight, like BoJack is. Diane used BoJack's tragic backstory to write his book, which then became successful and resonated with a lot of people. This caused Diane wanting to write her own book about herself, but was having writer's block because she believed that her damage wasn't as quote-unquote good as BoJack's. However, Diane finally realized that damage is just damage and that her feelings are valid. If you would like to hear more about Diane and the art of creating relatable characters, I definitely suggest you guys watch Savage Book's video. His video is where I got the Diane and BoJack comparison idea from, and the whole point that I just made about Diane, I got it from his video, so please watch his. Anyway, that's why we need characters like Deku to resonate with. That's why a lot of people are fans of Saitama from One Punch Man. I am not saying that Deku is even in the same realm as Saitama. Of course not. But the reason why we like Saitama is because he's just a regular dude who likes to be a hero for fun. And his backstory is that he had a very boring job and was questioning, is this all there is? And that's the exact question we tend to ask ourselves when we go to a job that we aren't satisfied with. Like Deku, Saitama wanted to be a hero and trained hard to become one. That is why we need protagonists that have average and realistic backstories, unlike most shonen protagonists. Mirio is a freaking awesome character than Deku by a long shot, but I want to try to understand the reason why Horikoshi would make a fantastic side character than the show's protagonist, and the reason for that question is quite obvious. We all have someone like Mirio in our lives, someone who is already where we want to be and wish we could be, like an older sibling, a manager, or even a fellow classmate. Deku is aware that he isn't at Mirio's level yet, and Mirio is the exact reflection of what Deku should be as a character. This realization hits Deku like a truck when he finds out that All Might was on his way to give Mirio one for all, and starts doubting himself. Look guys, there's always going to be someone who is better than you, smarter than you, prettier than you, funnier than you, or even talented than you. But it's what you do with your current state that makes you different. We all wish that Deku was Mirio. However, Deku is his own person. I know that sounds cheesy, but there's another character in My Hero Academia who goes through the same social comparison bias. Endeavor. Endeavor is currently the new #1 hero, but he's not sure how to go about it because All Might left a huge impression that Endeavor has to surpass. He then asks All Might what a symbol of peace is supposed to be, and All Might responded with,
"Tragedy. Listen, Endeavor. I understand the situation you've been placed in, and what's being said about you. There are many who can't help but dwell on our differences.
It's not that I don't like Endeavor, I just can't help but compare him to All Might. And you know, that's kind of a lot for any hero to live up to, right?
All Might! They came to watch us?
So cool! Whoa, is that Endeavor? Seriously? That's kind of random.
But you and I are not the same person. It was my decision to become a symbol, but you don't have to do that. Instead, take your time and think about the kind of hero you want to be."
And Endeavor even tried to shake hands with a fan, and it didn't turn out as good as he thought it would because it just ain't his thing. Everyone kept comparing Endeavor to All Might, just as we the fans are comparing Deku to Mirio. Spoiler warning, if you haven't seen the season 4 finale, skip to this timestamp. 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, hopefully y'all are gone. After Endeavor defeats the Nomu, he pays tribute to All Might and finally accepts that he is his own person and has the strength to be the new #1 hero. Deku may not be a Mirio just yet, but he is Deku for now, and it is okay to have different types of heroes with different types of personalities. Speaking about personalities, Deku can come off as fake or ingenuine to most cynical viewers, which I completely understand. Many shonen protagonists have similar traits, and according to Google, it is being brave, heroic, and or selfless. However, Deku is very exaggerated with his kindness toward others, and is known as a wholesome character by many fans, or annoying to others. Because of this, Deku has a tendency to try to help people by using words rather than his actions. Todoroki pointed this out during the Forest Training Camp arc when Deku tried to get through Koda for not liking heroes.
I was just wondering what All Might would have done to help him if he'd been here. I mean, what would you say to him, Todoroki?
It depends.
Of course, sorry I asked.
To have a complete stranger try to change your mindset sounds like a pretty irritating conversation. What matters are actions. You have to show him what you're trying to prove, right? If you're going to rely on words alone, then they better be incredibly powerful. What you say doesn't matter near as much as what you actually do.
After defeating Muscular, he received a letter from Koda and stated, "Look at this letter someone sent me. It's from a boy I saved back at the training camp. A boy who hated everything to do with heroes and quirks. Telling me thank you. Yes, I know it's my fault that I caused so much concern, but even still, if only for a moment, in this letter, this boy made me his hero, and that makes it all worth it." He realizes that through actions, you can inspire those who you would have never thought to inspire. Just like most shonen protagonists, Deku has inspired a lot of the side characters. This is something that hits home for me because I too have been told that words aren't going to change people just like that. Heck, most of what I do in my daily life has to do with me using my words. But people want to see actions rather than words when you are standing up for what you believe in, and that is something that I have been learning and practicing on my own time. Overall, Deku is a good dude. But how long can he keep that up? I would love to see something like Steven Universe with Deku. Let me explain. I know that Steven Universe is also a show that people love or hate, but it is a whole different video for another day. But I really like what they did with Steven's final character arc. Steven was so accustomed to helping and inspiring people to learn how to love themselves that he stopped caring about his own well-being. I would love to see Deku going through the same mental dilemma as Steven. This idea could then reveal to Deku that the society of My Hero Academia isn't as idealistic as he believes it is. Again, watch Nux's video because he also briefly touches on Deku's idealism as well. However, we've all had an idealistic point of view of the world at some point in our lives, especially when we were children, because I sure did during my early years of high school. So we all gotta remember that Deku is just a kid and still has a lot of character development to go through. So let's not expect too much from him just yet. Also, side note, I really loved how Night Eye challenges Deku's self-esteem by stating that just because he inherited One For All does not mean he would be as good of a hero than All Might was, or even as Mirio. That moment did challenge Deku's idealism just a little bit. But yeah, I just want to see a little more of that in Deku's future character development. Okay, there were a few things that I wanted to mention that didn't quite fit into the video, like how I really liked the way Deku was portrayed in Heroes Rising a lot better than in the anime, but I know that Deku's personality was heightened for newcomers. Spoiler warning, if you haven't seen the movie, skip to this timestamp. Y'all have 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, okay. I did love the ultimate sacrifice that he made by giving Bakugo One For All. Like, damn! That made me bawl my eyes out with the rest of the audience. Until the ending, which I still don't know how I feel about that. I also like how Deku shows that straining your body too much can have big consequences, which resonates with a lot of aspects in our lives. And lastly, something that a lot of people hate about Deku is that he cries way too much. Now, I am aware that many of you are not gonna like me admitting the fact that I quite like that side of him, only because I can also relate to that. Back in the archives of my life, I used to cry a lot, and I used to be very sensitive when adversity would be knocking on my door. People would call me weak, and it would make me feel like a little bitch. So I empathize with the lad. Okay, I don't know if that says anything about me as an individual, but anyway, please subscribe to the creators that I referenced in this video, Nux Taku and Savage Books. I can't even speak. Nux Taku and Savage Books create quality content. I'm sorry that I'm slightly fangirling about them, but it's because they actually do post really good content. And I just like sharing about who or what I am passionate about. So if you like more videos like these, please subscribe, like this video, and yeah, stay safe and wash your hands.